Hi friends, welcome to the channel. Hit the like and subscribe, and don't forget to comment with an emoji just for the sake of engagement.
Chapter 40. Seeing her in that miserable state, her brother desperately called out her name, asking her to respond. Syria, not knowing what was happening, could only think about asking him to stop and wanting to demand that he release her at once, or at least scream. But she couldn't breathe. Suddenly the butler came running towards them, shouting for the young master and grabbing him by his arm, which made Syria fall down. Trying to gather herself, she could hear the butler speaking to the brother, telling him he mustn't do this again. Syria realized that something of the sort had already happened previously, the shock of which was still very much affecting her. She wondered what might have happened that day that they were talking about. The next day, we saw that Syria still couldn't get over the feeling she was feeling, a terror so horrible that she couldn't even scream. Was it possible that something even more serious than she had imagined happened? The butler clearly knew what went on between them, and if she could probe a little, maybe she would learn something. As she was walking down the hall, someone called out her name, which made her flinch. She realized that she had entered her father's office. She apologized, saying that she was having a momentary headache, and asked him if he wished to speak with her. Her father asked how badly she was hurt during the wedding because her mind was still muddled. She replied, "It's as told yesterday," but as her father didn't appear to trust her, she suggested consulting the high church record. Taken aback by her words, the father replied that he didn't mean it like that. Syria stated that she would like to venture a question of her own and asked him why he hadn't responded to the Duke's request for the approval of their marriage. Asking why he hadn't replied yet, visibly shocked by her accusation, her father questioned what she was talking about, asking his assistant about the matter. The assistant replied that they did indeed receive a request from the Duke, but as her father previously mentioned, he ordered him not to bring up anything regarding her ever again. He had already discarded it. Her father forgot about the fact that he had mentioned such a thing and ordered the assistant to bring the request, trusting that he had kept it safe somewhere. The assistant responded that he had already discarded it, getting angry and slamming the table. Her father stated that he had never ordered him to do anything like that. Crouching with fear, the servant replied that it was Lord Nissus who assured him that disposing of the request wouldn't pose a problem. Frustrated with all the events, Syria realized that Nissus clearly hated her in the original story, but she had no idea that he would sever all ties between them. Syria told her father that no matter what, she would like for him to give his approval. As the Duke was the one who saved her during her wedding ceremony, she owed him her life and felt the only way to repay his kindness was by becoming a flawless archduchess. She hoped that her father would aid her in that. Father realized that she indeed had changed after her near-death experience and reassured her that he would compose a letter. Syria asked if she could take it with her when she left. Her father told her that she could do as she pleased, and as she was leaving, she replied that she would wait. Upon hearing her address him as father, his eyes widened as he sat down and started writing on something. Syria understood from the interaction they had that the word father might be foreign to him. She wondered if the original Syria never addressed him that way and only addressed him as your lordship her entire life, the thought of which made her feel lonely. While roaming through the gardens, she took a statement back, seeing all the hustle and bustle and all the chatter coming from the different guests. She didn't feel lonely at all, the place seemed to be positively swarming. She knew that the Marchioness said she would put great effort into the invitations, but she was questioning how many people she really did invite. She wondered if she was at a funeral or a market. While she was moving around, something caught her eye, but someone interrupted her thoughts. We saw a bob-cut doofus coming from behind, asking for her attention. He informed her that he understood that she and Lady Marchioness enjoyed their close bond, so she must be heartbroken. Her ladyship requested that her funeral observances include a memorial banquet, so he hoped that she would not be too melancholy. Hiding her face with the fan that she had, she smiled and thanked him for the information. Realizing that Marchioness Keladin tried to trick her and make her a fool. He also stated that the banquet would include some light dancing, so if she didn't have a partner yet, he offered himself to be her partner, as he was a longtime admirer of the lady. Syria, hesitantly moving a little backward, told him that although she was grateful for the offer, she asked him to step back a little bit. Suddenly, someone grabbed the man's hand as well as Syria's shoulder. He said that he and Syria had a prior engagement. It was Callus who questioned the man. What business did he have with her? Syria was taken aback by the sudden intrusion when she realized the person who was standing behind her was Callus. Chapter 41. Upon seeing him, she realized that she had seen a familiar face among the mourners. She realized that even Hanaton's house was invited. Callus asked the man, what particular business did he have with his company? Shut the fuck up. Why did you think you were her companion? Taken aback, the man replied that he had none, and while leaving, he apologized to both of them. Callus told Syria to take care, as there were many people who craved a Stern's fame. Slapping his hand away from her shoulders, she told him that she was well aware of that and that she could take care of herself, asking him to mind his own business. Yes, Callus, you should go about your own business and go to hell. Lady Keladin could be seen coming in that direction. She called out for Syria and told her that seeing her run into Lord Hanaton was such a relief. She was very lucky, as she was concerned that Syria wouldn't have a suitable dance partner for the banquet. Mocking Syria, she asked Syria, stating that Callus would be the most fitting candidate for an archduchess. Syria asked her what she meant and the reason behind her statement. The lady replied that there was no one of a suitable rank to partner with an archduchess, realizing that she brought Elliot with her. She firmly replied that she had already decided on a partner. She told them that she would dance with Berk's Knight Commander, which made the lady twitch. She was persistent and told Syria that she could do whatever she wanted, but Callus would make a better escort than a Knight Commander. Lady Keladin replied that Marquis Hanaton had the highest rank out of everyone here. Syria fixed herself, addressed the lady, and told her that she understood that the lady had no particular favor for her and that she wished to embroil her in a scandal by linking her with Callus, but if she really insisted on employing such disgraceful tricks, she believed the person she should be after was her father, not her. She left the group, but everyone was gossiping about what just happened. As she was leaving, Callus called back to her. Momentarily looking back, she asked him if he was unaware of the fact that they were being watched and asked him to call her by her grace. Callus addressed her as Lady Stern. He told her that she did not need to pay any attention to the Marchioness. Syria realized that Callus was very determined to never acknowledge her status as the Archduchess of Berk. She replied that Callus did not need to worry, as he himself could escort her, which should allow Lady Keladin to save face. It'll make her happy. Callus replied that she had been quite magnanimous towards her ladyship, which made Syria pause. She told him that she just felt like the lady displayed great restraint for someone who was betrayed by her husband, as she knew precisely how it felt. Asking if her answer fulfilled his curiosity, if it did, she would like to end the conversation by saying that she left the garden. In the next scene, we saw all of Syria's family members and members of the high church sitting in a room. The priest thanked everyone for attending the lady's bequeathment ceremony. Once everything was divided and distributed to the rightful beneficiaries, they concluded the meeting. Her father questioned her about whether the item she had selected was sufficient for her. He understood that it was a land deed and was hardly substantial. Opening the deed in her hands, she said that it's true, but the land in question was not just expensive land, it appeared to be on paper, but it was filled with demonic energy. Her father asked if she would not find the coral reef island Nissus had chosen or the ruby necklace Cassius had selected. Stopping her father mid-sentence, she informed him that it was fine after all, and as she was a Stern, nothing could possibly be more intriguing than a land tainted by demonic energy. In truth, she had other reasons for choosing the deed. The landlady Marchioness left behind was so tainted by demonic energy that people couldn't set foot on it. In the story, it was selected by Cassius, who did present it as a gift to Lena. Lena, being a saint, used her divine power to purify it, uncovering a valuable magical crystal. Oh my god, yes, you go, girl. In the process of uncovering a valuable magical crystal mine hidden, she wondered if she could use the circlet, her own divine power would be sufficient to purify it as well. Nissus questioned his father about what use an abundant plot of land could possibly serve. Not wanting to communicate further, she decided not to react back, as it would just leave her with a headache. For some reason, both her brothers had been dejected since yesterday. She wondered if something had happened, but feeling happy because she had accomplished what she came here to do, she just wished to hold out for 3 more days so she could return home to Berk. I am so happy that she acknowledged Burke as her home and a safe space. A person could be seen standing outside the door, requesting for someone to come outside as the banquet would be beginning shortly, and asking how long he was planning to remain in his chambers. It was Callus, sitting with an ominous aura surrounding him. Oh my god, what was happening? He was mumbling Syria's name. Their previous encounter was plaguing his mind. He was questioning himself, wondering how she could do such a thing to him, and with that look in her eyes, he absolutely had no intention of continuing his marriage to Lena, as he had been waiting for her all this time. Suddenly, we saw another figure resembling Callus questioning him if he loathed Syria, asking him if his hatred for her was more than he could bear, and telling him that she was the one who betrayed him and for which she deserved to die. The real Callus repeated the words. The figure told him to kill her. Hearing those words shocked the real Callus. The figure asked him if he had forgotten the way Syria looked at him and if he was going to allow her to get away from him like that forever. Callus also replied that he did not wish to be away from her. The ominous figure told him that rather than allowing her to be stolen from him, it would be better to kill her. Callus could be seen holding a sharp, pain-like object, repeating the sentence that it would be better to kill her. Suddenly, he noticed the bracelet that Syria gave him as a gift the day before their engagement, which made him flinch and brought him back to reality. He used the weapon to pierce his own hand, and blood could be seen dripping from his hand on the floor. He's constantly questioning, was it better to kill her? And did not look to be in his proper mind. He questioned if he had lost his mind. Chapter 42. Syria, while opening the door, was looking visibly irritated. Nissus, standing at the entrance, asked her why she was looking at him like that and if he was a bug underfoot. Syria asked him what he was doing there and where Callus was. He replied that something urgent had come up, so Callus asked him to take his place. He asked her what she had done to Callus but changed his mind. Syria was wondering if he wanted to know why Callus still had feelings for her. Surprisingly, all the nobles blamed Callus for the dissolution of their engagement. There was, of course, the thought that he got fed up with her and ran away. Nissus asked her why she was standing there like an idiot, forwarding his hand. He asked for her hand and told her that he had to escort her. As they entered the hall, lots of people could be seen chattering, smiling, and enjoying the party. Lady Marchioness probably envisioned a simple dance among friends, but she realized that this was a full-scale ball. LOL. Nissus called for her attention and asked her to dance. Syria looked back at him and asked if he was out of his mind. He asked her if she was planning to stand in one place for the entire ball. Syria replied that, as she stated before, she would share the first dance with the House Burke's knight commander. Nissus asked her where her knight was, as he hadn't seen his skin or his hair the whole time. Syria, turning back, smiled cockily, as she was the one who asked Abigail to prevent the butler from letting Elliot wear clothes to the banquet. That was all a trick to avoid dancing. She told him that there was no need to keep her company and asked him to go see to his own business. Being frustrated, he replied that he wished he could, but someone had already tipped off their father, and now he's punished for being by her side for the remainder of the day. Syria asks him if it meant that he was punished for throwing away the letters that were intended for his father. As they were confronting each other, her older brother, his fiancé, and her mother came looking for her. Her brother asked her to stop being so obstinate and to dance with Nissus. Asking how long she was going to act like a child, Syria asks how many times she needed to repeat herself. She had no intention of sharing the first dance with her brother. The blonde told Syria that she hadn't had the slightest idea why she was being this way, not to mention that she also humiliated Callus earlier by publicly rejecting him as her partner. She questioned what on earth they did to offend her. Everyone could be seen whispering and commenting that Syria was making a scene again. People could be heard asking if she was the one who made an embarrassment of Callus earlier that day. Some of them said that even if she was the Archduchess, it was really too much. Syria was literally shocked to the core, as she didn't want too much attention on her, but certainly someone spoke on her behalf, asking all of them what they meant when they said that Syria humiliated him. It was Callus who stated that he suddenly felt indisposed, so he asked Syria to excuse him while he took a brief rest. Syria was shocked by his behavior, but upon noticing his hand, she realized that he had been hurt. Callus questioned Lady Mensla if it was not her tongue that painted him as an object of humiliation, which made her flustered. Lady Celadon requested that they not forget that they were gathered here for the ladies' memorial banquet. She told Syria that she fully appreciated her feelings but requested that she at least dance with Cassius if she didn't want to dance with Nissus, as they couldn't allow the ladies' memorial banquet to end on such a sour note. As Callus was about to defend Syria, she told him that she was not in need of rescue, realizing that if all of this went on any longer than necessary, she would be the one caught up in more sordid gossip. She told the lady that she would be better off dancing with Cassius. The lady asked her if she would like some time to prepare herself. Syria could be seen sitting on a love seat, fixing her shoe. She remembered that Cassius and the Marchioness had a quiet knack for getting under people's skin. All she wanted was to hurry home, but at that moment, Cassius could be seen entering the room she was sitting in. He told her that she seemed to loathe spending any time in their company. If she had shown them even the slightest bit of consideration, then such ugly public displays wouldn't have occurred. Syria told him that she was already being extremely considerate to House Celadon, which was why she agreed to grant him the honor of dancing with an archduchess. If he were only here to pick a quarrel, then he could get out as soon as she had finished getting ready. Suddenly, Cassius grabbed her hand and yanked it away. This action shocked her, and she questioned him about what he was doing. "I am so mad right now that I can't even edit." He told her that she was shaking on the brink of collapse, if he was not mistaken. Looking at him, Syria ordered him to release her, and if he doesn't, she will. Her words were cut short when suddenly Cassius asked her, why did she despise him so much? He questioned her, was it because of what happened previously? Syria realized that he was talking about that incident, which made the original Syria hate him. To know the truth about what really happened, she decided to play along. She told him that it was because of the time, and I asked him why he did that to her, squeezing his hand, trying to let him release her, and stretching his hand away. He questioned her about how long she was going to keep harping on about it, as it was an accident. He told her that she also felt the same way, which was why she had kept quiet all this time. Syria knew that she had to stay calm and praise him a bit more, trying to comfort herself. She questioned him about whether he had forgotten what he actually did and asked him if dismissing it as an accident would resolve it. She was thinking to herself, what would Cassius fear the most? Who was the last person he would find out? She asked if their father learned of it, he would also believe it was an accident, like he claimed. Hearing her question, Cassius grabbed her shoulders, shaking her, and asked her whether she realized the implications of what she had just said. Chapter 43. Shaking her to her core, he asked her if she realized the implications of what she just said. Syria was visibly distraught, trembling, and wanting to free herself from the situation. Syria cried, saying she must go and visit her father. Her brother grabbed her shoulders tightly, hurting her. He told her not to play any tricks. Suddenly, a crash could be heard as Syria shouted to unhand her, which the butler heard. She kept saying that she wanted to go to her father, asking her brother to leave her. The butler could be seen entering the room, shouting Syria and her brother's names. He was requesting that he not do anything. The butler quickly grabbed her brother from behind and asked Syria to excuse him as he didn't do anything intentionally, claiming that it was all a mistake. Hearing that, her brother shoved the butler away from himself, and the butler fell down with a loud thud. When leaving the room, Cassius asked Syria why she was so fixated on ancient history. He slammed the door before he left. "What did you mean by ancient history? You tried to kill her." Syria quickly took the opportunity, crouched down behind Jason, and asked him what sort of mistake he had made. In the meantime, Cassius could be seen standing on the balcony, watching the party as if nothing had happened. As Syria, who clearly had been hurt, came towards him, her foot was bleeding due to the attack, but without caring for herself, she quickly questioned him about how he could just storm off like that as they hadn't finished the conversation. He replied that there was nothing more to discuss. Syria frankly told him that Jason had informed her, and she knew everything now about that winter night. 10 years ago, it was shown that Jason informed her that 10 years ago, she and Master Nissus snuck out to the frozen lake behind the mansion together because she apparently wanted to play on the ice. Master Nissus, while crying, came back and informed his father that he didn't want to live with Syria because he didn't like having her around. His father asked him if he had abandoned Syria out on the lake. His father was absolutely furious. Cassius, the butler, and many others joined in a desperate search. Cassius was the first to find her lying on the snow, shivering with cold and nearly senseless. As Syria saw her brother, with the last bit of her strength, she called out to him. His brother had feared that allowing their father to see her in that state would lead to a harsh scolding for his brother, so he decided to take precautions to temporarily conceal her. By how? By drowning and killing her? What the hell? There just so happened to be a hole in the ice, and her brother pushed her into the water as she was struggling to breathe. The present Syria was shocked upon hearing all the confessions. Jason informed her that it was truly an accident, as her brother was not aware of the whole thing. It was a mistake born of a child's heart. I didn't think so. Even though Jason only told her that part, her lost memories had returned. She told Cassius that he deliberately pushed her head into the water and tried to kill her. Regardless of how young he may have been, couldn't he see that his little sister was struggling to breathe? If Jason hadn't come, he would have killed her. Cassius addressed her by her maiden name, quickly stopping him. Syria asked him why he kept calling her by that name. Did it seem like a waste to erase her from the family tree now that she's an archduchess? Moving forward, she asked him if she were not titled the Duchess, would he still have wanted to have a dance with her, or would he even be answering her questions right now? She reminded herself that she was not Syria, she's only wearing her body, so she could only dimly figure out her emotions, but even though she had no recollection of the winter night and likely never would, she often felt as though she'd been dragged over a dark, icy lake. No matter how much she struggled, there was no response, as if he wanted to cut the air from her lungs, it was as if she were dying. It seemed that he was truly going to kill her, but no one around her was willing to help her. She started feeling dizzy and started wobbling. Her brother asked her to stop for a moment and listen to him, but before he could say anything, she began falling. Suddenly, the Duke called out her name. Oh, my God, I am dead. I am so excited. He called out her name upon hearing his voice. She looked out towards him as she was being held by him. She told him that it was him again that was coming to her rescue once again. With that, she slumped down, losing all senses, as the Duke could be seen shouting her name. Chapter 44. As the Duke shouted her name, lots of murmuring could be heard. He called out her name, requesting that she wake up. And looking at her face, all he could think about was when he asked her to wait a week so he could accompany her. We were brought back to a flashback when Syria asked the Duke if he worried when she ventured out alone. The Duke replied that he had no idea that sending one's spouse away was such a painful affair. Syria then whispered in his ear, telling him that if he was so concerned, he could do something for her. She asked the Duke to meet her at Keladon's border, hearing which the Duke was shocked and asked her what she meant. Syria laughingly replied that if the Archduke himself traveled to Keladon, it would surely scare all the retainers out of their wits, and asked him if it wouldn't be amusing, knowing that he would come to get her, which would help her to hold fast. Looking at her face, now unconscious, he was thinking that, although he came all the way to Keladon to fetch her, he never in his life imagined that he would find her in this state. While brushing the hair off her face, he was rudely interrupted by Cassius, who asked him how he was. Holding Syria as she was unconscious in his arms, the Duke angrily questioned, what in the devil had they done to his wife? Syria opened her eyes and saw that she was sitting in her room, still not fully conscious. She looked around and saw Rush as he was cleaning her feet. Seeing the Duke touching her feet, she quickly sprang up and asked him when he got here, as she wasn't expecting him for another 3 days. Rubbing and clearing the blood and dirt off of her feet, he replied that he couldn't stand being apart any longer, so he departed early. The only thing he asked was for her to remain well, but it looked like it was too difficult for her. Being a little embarrassed, she apologized for her condition. The Duke told her that if she was truly sorry for what she did, then she should tell him the truth about what Cassius Keladon exactly did to her. Syria, a little nervous, told him that it's not a story he would enjoy and it happened such a long time ago. The Duke replied that the happenings at Laurel Manor were also a thing of the past. Syria told him that this wasn't nearly as grand of a story as that, it's just a trifle. She was sure that he would surely laugh at her inability to get over such a small thing. Syria, what were you doing? It's not a small thing. All while she was looking at the bowl of water, trying to forget all the things that had happened to her body. The Duke, while cleaning her feet, squeezed her and told her that no matter what anyone says, the fact remained that it was something she had been unable to get past, and that was why it mattered to him. Finally deciding to reveal all the truth, she told him that she found out long ago that Cassius tried to drown her by holding her head underwater at the lake. The Duke was shocked to hear that he lowered his head in contemplation, not being able to speak anything, but was interrupted when Lady Keladin, Nissus, and Cassius entered the room. They were shocked upon seeing the Duke and Syria sitting in that position. Looking towards them, the Duke coldly asked what they were looking for. Lady Keladin told the Duke that he honored the House of Keladin with a personal visit, so of course they had to give him a proper welcome. Nissus, in the meantime, was whispering to Cassius, asking him why the Archduke was kneeling at her feet. Rising from his position, the Duke, with a cold expression, mentioned the welcome they were talking about but told them that he had a great deal to discuss with all of them. In the next scene, the Duke and Cassius could be seen standing on the frozen lake, and the Duke could be seen throwing his gloves at Cassius. He questioned the Duke about his odd behavior. The Duke replied that it should be clear enough to make it through even his thick skull. Pulling his sword out, he ordered him to duel him right then and there. Cassius replied that even if he's an Archduke, summoning someone to a lake like that was rather odd. He told him that he had no idea what Syria had informed him about. Sighing, the Duke replied that he didn't recall giving him any permission to use his wife's name. He asked him if he should cut out his tongue to finally stop it from wagging. LOL. I was missing this so much. Realizing that whatever he said would not appease the Duke's anger at the moment, he decided to do his best and send him off until his mood improved. As he was about to pull out his sword, the Duke lunged towards him and hit him on the face with the back of his sword, which shocked Cassius as it was too sudden, and he fell down on the ice. Pain coursed through his whole body as the Duke stomped on his feet, which made him squirm in pain. Using his sword, he smashed the ice nearby where Cassius was lying, which made the ice crumble and a hole appear. Stating that it should be enough, he pulled Cassius back up using his hair and told him to take a deep breath, as it would be dull if he died too quickly. With that, he pushed his head into the cold, icy water, and Cassius could be seen struggling to breathe, just like Syria felt back then.
That's all for today. See you in the next episode, friends. Until then, keep reading manga.